Welcome back to the Singer's Compass. I'm Courtney Ross, and I'm really glad you're here. Today, I want to talk about one of the more challenging aspects of pursuing a life in the performing arts, and that is trying to build a career in a profession that often comes with very little clear guidance. We go to school, we receive voice lessons, musical training, and performance coaching, but there often isn't much guidance on how to actually build and sustain a career. How do you make career decisions? How do you deal with rejection that inevitably arises? How do you build confidence and maintain direction instead of constantly doubting yourself? And how do you recognize opportunities and know which ones are actually right for you? Without proper guidance, it's easy to start feeling like every decision carries enormous weight. Many artists end up believing that if they miss the right timing, they'll miss their chance altogether. I remember being told at 25 that if I didn't already have a career by 28, the age limit for many young artist programs, by the way, then I probably wouldn't have much of a future in opera. Hearing things like that as a young singer creates a lot of pressure. Every decision starts to feel permanent. Every delay feels dangerous. Every setback feels like proof that you're not cut out for this. Honestly, that pressure is why many artists eventually feel aimless, because they see every decision as high stakes and fear starts to become part of the process. You hesitate, you overthink opportunities, you postpone auditions because you don't feel ready enough, and inevitably, you compare yourself to other people's timelines. Self-doubt begins making the decisions for you. And at the same time, artists are trying to build a career, constantly seeking external validation. We want to be liked. We begin believing that saying yes to everything, every audition, every role, every possible opportunity is important because we don't want to appear difficult, ungrateful, or less committed. Over time, that mindset can cause artists to lose their direction. That's why perspective is so important. Not only asking, what opportunities am I being given, but also, what kind of life am I trying to build? What are my strengths? What are my limitations? What matters to me personally, not just professionally? Those questions matter because careers do not exist separately from the rest of our lives. They exist inside of our lives. We need a strong sense of who we are if we're going to maintain balance along the way. The performing arts is filled with variables that none of us can fully control. So yes, timing matters, opportunities, connections matter. Sometimes luck matters too. In fact, a talented baritone friend of mine, Torlov, likes to say, "Some things just fell into my lap." He believes so much of what he's done has come from being at the right place at the right time. And honestly, sometimes that does happen. Some people meet the right teacher at exactly the right moment. Someone hears them unexpectedly. An opportunity opens at precisely the right time. But for many artists, careers unfold with twists and turns, redirections, and periods of uncertainty, moments where you genuinely do not know the next step. That's part of surviving a life in the performing arts, learning to accept uncertainty as part of the process, rather than as proof that something has gone wrong. Sometimes uncertainty is a sign that you need to take a step back, regroup, and take stock of where you are on your journey. Often, the artists who sustain long careers are not the ones who followed some perfect plan. They're the ones who learned how to adapt, evolve, and continue forward without losing themselves along the way. That may be why artistic life requires more than a carefully constructed plan. Yes, goals and preparation, discipline matters, but creative lives rarely follow a straight path. Unexpected opportunities and unforeseen detours can lead to entire seasons of growth that we could not have anticipated. That may be why the idea of a compass resonates so strongly with me. A compass doesn't provide every step ahead of time. It helps you stay oriented. It helps you continue moving in a direction that feels aligned with who you are becoming, even when the path changes unexpectedly. That doesn't mean leaving everything up to chance. Training matters. Professionalism matters. Consistency matters. But artists also need internal tools for navigating this uncertainty: perspective, resilience, self-awareness, emotional stability, and supportive mentorship, because talent and technical skill alone are not enough to sustain someone through the ups and downs of this profession. That's why I think conversations like these are important. Not from the perspective of having everything figured out, but from recognizing many artists are trying to find their way while feeling as though they should already know exactly what they're doing. I don't think that's realistic because most of us are learning as we go. So, if you're in a season right now where things feel unclear, where you've been holding yourself back because you're afraid of making the wrong move, or where fear and self-criticism have become louder than your own instincts, perhaps you're struggling to figure out which opportunities are actually right for you. Whatever the case may be, I really hope this episode reminds you that you don't have to have everything figured out in order to keep moving forward. You don't have to make every decision perfectly. You don't have to follow someone else's timeline. And you don't have to lose yourself in the process of trying to build a career. Maybe that's where all of this begins. Not with finding a perfect map, not with having every answer, but with taking the time to get clear about your own direction. So before I go, I'd like to leave you with a challenge. Take 10 minutes sometime this week and ask yourself, where am I actually trying to go? Not where someone else thinks I should be going, not where my colleagues are going, not what sounds impressive, but what do I genuinely want from this career? Because when you're clear about what matters to you, it becomes easier to make decisions. It becomes easier to evaluate opportunities. It becomes easier to recognize when you're moving forward versus simply reacting to pressure, fear, or someone else's expectations. You don't need every answer, but having a sense of your own direction can change the way you navigate the journey. Thank you for listening. Until next time, and wherever you are in your artistic journey right now, I hope you continue following your own compass.